Steph, we got tons of this Paramount talk,
Yeah.
tons of it.
Yep.
And we've been discussing this last time. And here's one of the many reports on the Paramount thing we'll be talking about here today. And first rumor is James Gunn's position at DC Studios seems to be safe, as Paramount reportedly intends to keep him on as co-CEO. Been a lot of speculation regarding James Gunn and Peter Safran's future at DC Studios. Now, a new report indicates that should Paramount buy Warner Brothers, the co-CEOs will remain in their position at DC. DC Studios may have recently been formed, but speculation is already running rampant about the studio going away. This started when it was announced that Paramount had been submitting bids to buy Warner Brothers, which in turn prompted the confirmation that the legendary studio was indeed for sale. Shortly after that, people began to wonder whether the future of the DCU was in question. Speculation became more prominent when James Gunn seemingly addressed a possible exit from that position in an interview. According to a new report, however, Gunn and Safran's place at the studio is safe. Per Bloomberg, Paramount Skydance David Ellison has been the driving force behind the bids for WBD. He wants to keep the creative teams of the two studios while consolidating some of the marketing and distribution, according to people familiar with his plans. The outlet also stated that there have been no decisions made about whether or not a merged Paramount Warner Brothers Discovery would let go of either of the company's studio lots. John Campea backed up the report, stating that his sources confirmed to him that some of the people Paramount is planning to keep on a potential merger are James Gunn and Safran. He says, I know a couple people over at Paramount, into which I wrote, and I quoted this article out of Bloomberg. I said, Ellison plans on keeping the creative teams in place, and I specifically and directly asked, does that include Michael DeLuca and Pamela Abdy? And does that include James Gunn and Safran? To which they said a simple response, yes. Promising development for DC Studios. However, it's important to point out that should Paramount become the new owner of Warner Brothers, there could be at least two possible outcomes for the superhero studio. First is the operating structure remains the same, and DC remains the freedom it's been stated to enjoy so far. The second is that under a new regime, tighter oversight, particularly since a merged corporation stemming from WBD and Paramount would have multiple different subsidiaries and properties to manage. Another thing to consider, as Bloomberg pointed out in the report, the 2019 merger between Disney and 21st Century Fox resulted in a smaller movie output from the studios. If merged, Paramount would have to carry Warner Brothers' financial responsibilities, and those superheroes have proven profitable in the past. The ROI, at least theatrically, has decreased considerably. Depending on the financial outcome of Clayface, Supergirl, the merged Paramount Warner Brothers could theoretically shorten or widen the monetary and creative flexibility that DC has. Okay, so there's definitely some news here, but Steph, we talked about this last week, and what
Yeah.
we said was it would be stupid for them to just bring him on right away, to fire him and go, okay, or to buy and say, well, you know what, you have that movie out there, Superman, you've got this thing, you've got a plan, we're gonna get rid of it. Now, what they say is very true, and we also talked about that last week. They very well could say, okay, we want you to continue on what you're doing, but we're going to have a little bit more input than, say, Zaslav did. We're going to ask you to do a couple more things that we think. Or they could also say, we want Abdi and DeLuca to be a little bit more involved than they are. And then eventually James Gunn go, I don't like this way of things. I don't want to up my contract. I don't want to continue this way. No, thank you. But it makes sense that they would keep him on and let his movies plan. Don't be petty and say, well, you don't believe in the same stuff I believe in politically, so we're going to get rid of you. So no, I might tell you certain things now, and there might be a creative leash more so than there was before. And you can leave if you want, but you still have a job. This makes sense to me. How about yourself?
Yeah, this makes complete sense. I feel like James Gunn, whether you like him or not, is a total catch for a studio, at least right now, because he is willing to put in so much effort. He has the passion, he has the skill set, he has the contacts, and it's like he just got started, so it wouldn't make any sense. I think it would ruffle more feathers than do good. And also, like, there's multiple realities in which we're seeing these billionaires kind of buy and monopolize these streaming companies, and there's parts of us that I'm sure are like, are they doing this to insist their political view on us? But then there's like a whole other side that's like, a lot of people are one issue voters, and like they could like honestly not really care what his messaging is and really just
Right.
be like, I just, I like making money and that's why I bought this company. Like we just don't know.
Right. Yeah, it's true. It's like, but look, and there's two parts of that. If he goes and he makes some movies that Ellison doesn't agree with, but like you said, but it makes $1 billion, he's going to make me another $1 billion. I don't care. Do what you got to do. But there's the flip side of that, to where if it starts to underperform, and he's going to go, all right, maybe we cut back on some of that stuff because they're not buying tickets to see it. So maybe you should look at both sides of the thing here, which is possible as well. Um,
Right.
but you can't just say, "Oh, I don't like what he did in his last thing, so I'm going to fire him now. You're fired because I don't agree with you." That'd be stupid. And it also, in the same way that he's running, they just started this thing, and we talked about it. It would be so stupid to reboot the DCU again or continue his vision right now without him. You can eventually do that, but right now it'd be stupid. So it makes sense that they would say, I think it would be smart business for them to keep them on board for now and let them finish their run.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think that the other thing that is interesting, and I'm curious what you think, is there's other things that would be put together and stuff that we'll cover, but the question is about the two lots. I mean, the Warner Brothers lot is famous. It's legendary. And even the Fox lot, which is kind of empty now, stuff, it still exists. It's still there. Um, do they get rid of the Warner Brothers lot? Do they turn it into a Paramount lot, or do they just basically operate it as the Warner Brothers lot?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a sad future to think about, is the minimalization of these lots and kind of the condensing of them. I think that they would keep it. I think that there's a lot people like, there's a nostalgia factor, but there's also like it's still famous and it still makes great products. So I just feel like cleaning house as soon as you purchase something wouldn't be the smartest thing. And like, why not just use it feels like more of an asset than something to get rid of. So I would assume just keep the asset until it no
Yeah,
longer serves you.
I agree with you, and you get some more space to do things and more place to shoot. And the fear of the reduction of movies and things. If you look, there are a lot of things that were also made through Hulu and other stuff that they did, and there's a lot of things that were made, but uh, I don't know. I think that as we mentioned, and there's more conversations about it now. I still think it's inevitable. I think that this guy really wants it, and I think they're going to get it.
I do too.
Yeah. All right. What do you guys make of this? What do you think about the rumor of James Gunn being safe? You think that's true? Not true? Put your thoughts. Let us know. Look, people can be scumbags. We know that. People are trying to rip people off for money all the time. There's scams happening all the time. Hell, there are YouTube channels dedicated to catching these scamming bastards. But your security, it's got to be a priority. And Cash App, it treats it that way. With Security Lock, Cash App requires a successful Face ID or a biometric authentication to access your account. It's like your money is being protected by your own personal bodyguard. Even if your phone, if it's lost, if it's stolen, they got you covered. Plus, if you're about to send money to someone new and Cash App notices that something's like off, you're falling for a scam, it's going to send you a warning before the money is sent to confirm that everything looks right. Turn on Security Lock in your Cash App settings today. Pay attention to scam warnings to keep your money safe. Learn more at cash.app/security. For a limited time, new Cash App customers can earn $10 if they use the code SECURE10 in their profile at sign up and send $5 to a friend with 14 days. Terms apply. Cash App is a financial services platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's bank partners. Prepaid debit card is issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC. Discounts provided by Cash App, a Block Inc. brand. Visit cash.app/legal/podcasts for full disclosures.